Making our way through the official Blender documentation, we are finally making our way into modeling in 3D. So what is modeling? In essence, it's taking the form of something and reconstructing it with a surface, just like Plato's theory of forms. It's okay if you don't know what that means. It only has a small amount to do with anything related to Blender. Basically, everything has a form that isn't truly the object itself. That is what we are doing here. We are trying to create the form of something. Depending on the type of object you are trying to model, there are different types of modeling modes. And since modes are not specific to modeling, they are covered in different parts of the manual. We will cover them as we get to them in other videos. We have seen a few of them already. The list of tools that you have access to can shrink or grow depending on the mode you are in. The one we care about in particular at this time is the edit mode. We have seen the edit mode a lot up to this point, but we haven't actually talked about it much. We care about it because it's the main mode where you actually do your modeling when we start doing that. Some things we should consider while we are in edit mode as well are the following, since these are the things that we will be editing to shape our models. Those being the meshes and curves and surfaces and metaballs, EXT objects and lattices. And something to note, you can only modify the mesh of the objects you are editing. To modify other objects, you can leave edit mode, select another object and enter edit mode, or use multi-object editing. Now, let's start with meshes and make our way through that list in other videos. To start modeling, typically you'd want to start with a primitive. Remember, with Ctrl+A, you can add objects to the scene. This is a list of primitives that you can just add to the scene without doing any editing of your own. Let's add a plane. In the 3D mode, there are 3 modes that we typically use for creating, editing, and manipulating meshes. We have been using object and edit mode a lot, but there is also sculpt mode. Sculpt mode is kind of like real-life sculpting. The difference is that we are still only working with vertices. We are essentially moving around multiple vertices until we get the shapes that we want. In object mode, you'll find it best for creating new objects, joining them, UV stuff, and managing the key shapes. And edit mode is used for the majority of mesh editing. Let's talk about what a mesh is exactly. With meshes, everything is built from 3 basic structures: vertices, edges, and faces. If we make sure that we are in edit mode, we can see all of these dots. These are vertices. These are points you can move around, as previously mentioned. In the case of this plane, any 2 points that connect to each other on the outside here are called an edge. And if we look at it head-on, the space between the edges is called a face. Vertices are the most elementary part of a mesh. They are a single point or position in 3D space. The vertices of an object are stored as an array of coordinates. Also, do not mistake the object origin for a vertex. It may look similar, but it is bigger and cannot be selected. The edges are the wires you see when you look at a mesh in wireframe view. They are usually invisible on the rendered image. They are used to construct faces. Remember, you can see the wireframe by toggling this here in the header. And faces are used to build the actual surface of the object. They are what you see when you render the mesh. A face is defined as the area between either 3 triangles, 4 quadrangles, or more n-gons vertices with an edge on every side. The faces are often abbreviated to tris, quads, and n-gons. Triangles are always flat and therefore easy to calculate. On the other hand, quadrangles deform well and are therefore preferred for animation and subdivision modeling. That's all for this video introducing meshes for modeling. Thanks for making it all the way through the video. Join us in the next video as well. If you like content like this, please be sure to support the channel by liking and subscribing. See you in the next video.